Happy January 3rd, JLD here, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today. In this video, we'll be talking about MicroStrategy's next big move, the upcoming debt offerings for 2025, what you should be focused on when it comes to MicroStrategy's KPIs and their numbers. I have an epic clip from Michael Saylor, of course. It's actually a very comical one that I hope you enjoy. And this is MicroStrategy Today, the only daily show bringing you MicroStrategy's insights and updates 7 days a week. This video is just my opinions. It is not financial advice. So let's dive on in. And my friends, this is my Twitter X handle right here, MicroStrategy. The link is in the show notes. Please give that a follow because I will be tweeting out all important things when it comes to MicroStrategy all day, every day. And make sure to comment where you're watching from. We're collecting that data to find out where MicroStrategy investors are tuning in from, and it's going to be a great report. Let's move on to the MSTR tracker. And again, a little teaser, I'll be interviewing the founder, creator of this tracker very shortly and releasing that video probably next week, so keep an eye out for that. The stock price is at $300. It had a 3.59% increase to bump it up to number 137 out of 500 in the S&P 500. Bitcoin price, as I'm talking right now, is about 96,400. The Bitcoin balance from MicroStrategy is still 446,400, so 446,400 Bitcoin. The Bitcoin value per basic share is $175. The NAV premium is still, in my opinion, quite low at 1.711. And the Bitcoin yield to date and quarter to date are just about to start getting tabulated, so keep an eye out for that, as the overall return percentage for MicroStrategy's investments in Bitcoin is 54%. This article right here, I will link it up in the show notes because you're going to want to go through this at your leisure. It's an amazing article by Marty, as always. I'm going to go through about 20% of this. This is going to be part one of a multi-part series where I'm going to be going through this specific article because it's so fascinating. I don't want to do it all in just one shot because it's a lot of stuff. It's too much. So I'm going to go through part one today. Then we'll move on to some pretty epic tweets. So this is the MicroStrategy ballistic acceleration model and fair value estimate, which is a really interesting chart to study. And here we go. In 2024 was the year I fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, says Marty. I'd previously dismissed it as a volatile and speculative asset after the FTX collapse. But after watching RFK Jr.'s speech at Nashville Bitcoin Conference, it all made sense. So what's really cool is that here's somebody, Marty, that just fell down the rabbit hole a few months ago, and now he's creating unbelievable content like this. I love that. I understood that Bitcoin was not just another cryptocurrency, but the inevitable future of capital preservation. Keywords, capital preservation. That's how I love to describe Bitcoin. Not as currency, not as this, not as that, as capital preservation. It would make money fair by providing fundamental property rights to the poorest people whose money is melting faster than most. This would make it impossible to wage needless wars with unlimited borrowed money, driving up the cost of living and stealing from future generations. After reading the Bitcoin standard and the fiat standard, which, by the way, must reads, my friends, so good, I realized that my savings from my engineering career were not growing. They were melting as the banking system created more money. The more I studied, the more I realized it was inevitable. In this article, I want to summarize what I've learned from analyzing Bitcoin's momentum and subsequently MSTR and highlight where we're headed in 2025. Navigating Bitcoin's peaks and valleys with the power law. I thought Bitcoin was the future, but it's volatile. Sure, Bitcoin has gone up a lot over the past 15 years, but would it continue? And how could I navigate those nasty drawdowns? I mean, that is a nasty drawdown. You're zoomed out. It doesn't look that bad. It was horrible. Even this nasty drawdown, this nasty drawdown, this nasty drawdown. Even this nasty drawdown. And this was recent. I remember when this happened, it was like 50,000, 49,000. I was like, oh, this is nasty. And then what happened? Zoop. After a few weeks of digging into Bitcoin, I stumbled across Giovanni Santosasi. I'm just going to say Giovanni, and Stefan Pernaud, two PhD astrophysicists, talking about the Bitcoin power law. While the power law sounds mysterious, it's not a law written in stone. It's a mathematical concept that helps us understand trends in many orders of magnitude. The internet, viruses, and other things in nature follow a power law growth curve. While there's plenty of FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, about Bitcoin going to zero, as well as hopium pushers talking about a phase shift in Omega candles that will take Bitcoin to 1 million next week, plotting Bitcoin's price or market cap on a log scale brings some sanity to emotional extremes. And this right here is the chart of the power law in days since optimized. So very interesting to see how that is all lining up. But the cool thing about the power law is that it adapts to recent price data like flashlight in the dark, like a flashlight in the dark, to give us a more accurate picture of where it's going in the next few years. Adaptive power law. As shown in the chart below, while increasing R2 over the past 6 years, the strength of this power law relationship has only strengthened over time. More importantly, the gradient of the power law also adapts to more recent price data, giving us a refined understanding of where Bitcoin might go in the upcoming months and years. Notice how the gradient has steepened through 2024 as the Bitcoin price growth accelerated after the ETF's approval earlier this year, and then again after the US election. And then you can see this power law gradient price. Another very interesting chart to kind of study and then to understand. And this is actually going to be the end of part 1 for this article. Again, I will post a whole article in the show notes so you can go through at your leisure. And I'm going to go through it chunk by chunk over the next handful of days and videos because I just don't want to dump too much into one video because it would just be too much. So we're going to go through it piece by piece. And now we're moving on to some tweets. One by Michael Saylor that says, build a Bitcoin reactor. And guess what, my friends? MicroStrategy is building the Bitcoin Treasury capital of the world, the Bitcoin Treasury company, corporation of the world. They are building a Bitcoin reactor. And you are on board. I am on board. Hang on, because it's going to be a wild ride to the upside and to the downside. I want to talk about Michael Saylor just kind of commenting on this, which was great. He said, 2024 was a good year for Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. Rocket emoji, because this individual, Alex Thorne, wrote, despite the recent pullback, MicroStrategy finished 2024 as the best performing major asset in the world, with Bitcoin as number 3. Man, doesn't it feel good to be on the best performing assets side in the world? I mean, I understand that a lot of people watching this video have not experienced that full ride. I mean, I only got on at midway through the year, so I only experienced the last 6 months of this ride myself. But man, I am so excited for what the next 6 months, 6 years look like. It's going to be a wild ride. So congratulations for being on number 1. Let's talk about the MicroStrategist. This is kind of referring back to Marty's article a little bit. MSTR's Bitcoin value per share is the only number that matters. It's simply the Bitcoin per share multiplied by the current Bitcoin price. I'm sure this is what Michael Saylor and the Smart Ones see, the secret sauce to MicroStrategy's success. And this is why almost every day when I have the tracker up, I'm talking to you about the Bitcoin price the Bitcoin value price. Let's actually go back to it right now. This is the number that I'm talking about every single day that I get really excited about, which is the Bitcoin value per basic share. I explain this number I don't explain it. I say this number every single time we go over the tracker because this is the KPI, the key performance indicator for Michael Saylor. This is what his team is focusing on. Bitcoin yield. This is what is going to make your stock worth more and more and more over time if they execute as they expect to and as they hope to and as I expect and hope that they will as well. So this Bitcoin value per share, this is the exciting part about holding MicroStrategy. It's immediate accretion when they sell shares at the market, when they issue convertible debts, convertible bonds, convertible notes. It's immediate accretion to you, to me, the shareholder. All right, so let's go back to that tweet because I want to just let you see visually. This is what's been happening to shareholders over time with their Bitcoin value per share. It's absolutely incredible. We've kind of flattened out a little bit here. A lot of people would say, including myself, good buying opportunities. And who knows what the future may bring. Let's talk about Matt. He says, I'm expecting more MicroStrategy debt offerings soon. Yes, Matt's finger is really on the pulse, and I expect the same, Matt. So great share. BitStrategy says, imagine MSTY, but instead of regular tax distributions and lower performance, you get higher performance and zero taxable events unless you sell your position. It's called MicroStrategy. And I will be doing an upcoming video on the difference between MSTX, which is a levered MicroStrategy play, MSTY, which is a MicroStrategy options play, and then, of course, MicroStrategy and the pros and the cons of all these different positions, et cetera, coming up in the future. The Bitcoin therapist says, you're not bullish enough, because Louis posted, my chat with Saylor gives me the confidence that MicroStrategy is going to double its current Bitcoin holdings in 2025. That's one Nakamoto under the MicroStrategy balance sheet. Aren't you excited, my friends, to be a shareholder in a company that's going to go from 440,000 plus Bitcoin to 1.1 million Bitcoin potentially this year? That's what one Nakamoto is. One Nakamoto is 1.1 million Bitcoin. Michael Saylor's posted about it in the past. We know that he has a goal of getting there. And can he do it in 2025? Man, I don't know, but I want to be a part of that ride. And then let's end with this. Punter Jeff says, when there are monumental shifts in utility, there will be monumental shifts in adoption. The internet was invented in 83. The first website didn't emerge till 8 years later in 91. Internet adoption S-curve then went parabolic in 94. And it feels like we just started in 1995. That means it feels like with MicroStrategy and Bitcoin in general, it's 1995, which is right about here. Yep, ETFs have been approved. Nation states are getting a little FOMO, and then whoop, there we go. All right, my friends, I have a great video per usual with Michael Saylor. I hope you enjoy. Michael, take it away.
You've got 400,000 Bitcoin, MicroStrategy does.
Right.
It's about 2% of the Bitcoin supply. How much is enough? When does that step? Do you like how much Bitcoin will MicroStrategy have?
I laugh. Dave Portnoy complains about buying it at 10 and panic selling it, and then he's like, "Oh, I bought it at 40, and I hit the wrong button." All these things, and now it's 100,000. And what I've said, and I said this to Tucker Carlson on television, I said I'm going to be buying the top forever. I mean, here's what I tell you: when Bitcoin's $1 million a coin, I bet you I will probably buy $1 billion of it at $1 million a coin, probably in one day.
Yep.
And when it's 2 million, I will probably be doing it again in one day. And when it's 10 million, I will be doing $1 billion or more in one day, right? And so we're not stopping. The big idea here is there's $450 trillion of assets in equity, real estate, fixed income that store of value assets in the 20th century economy. There's $2 trillion in Bitcoin in the 21st century economy. We're the bridge. We're going to continue to create Bitcoin-backed securities to channel that capital from an inefficient energy form to a more efficient structure. If I give you $1 billion and you invest in a diversified portfolio of African real estate companies and equity investments, that's a very inefficient portfolio. If I take the same $1 billion and I pull it into Bitcoin and I eliminate your counterparty risk to every country in Africa and every company and every currency in Africa, that's a much more efficient thing that gives off energy. So I don't see why we wouldn't just keep growing every year forever. There'll be a point when Bitcoin is a $300, $400, $500 trillion asset class. And maybe there's, if I don't know if it'll ever equalize, we'll see. But I mean, this will probably be 1,000 trillion and this will be 500 trillion. And there's still going to be normies. There's still going to be people that are like, I'd rather buy my government bonds,
Right.
or the government told me I had to capitalize my bank on the bonds.
Well, there you have it, my friends. Another day of MicroStrategy today. And I have a few really cool announcements that I want to share with you right now. Number one, comment below where you're watching from. We're collecting this data. It's really cool to see where individuals that are investing in MicroStrategy around the world are coming from. Number two, you're seeing a screen you've never seen before. This is a commitment that I have made, and I'm really interested to hear what you think about it in the comment section. So let me know. But listen, I have a very strong position within MicroStrategy, but I said, hey, I'm reporting on this every day. Why am I not buying MicroStrategy every single day? So I sat down, I ran some numbers about what fits my budget, and I'm going to be buying $210 of MicroStrategy every trading day in 2025. That's my commitment. I really hope I stick to it. This is my New Year's resolution, so to speak. Hold me accountable to this. I really want to make this happen. I see no reason why I won't. That's why I chose the number 210, because I thought about doing 1 share per day, but I'm like, man, I think MicroStrategy is going to get to $1,000, $2,000 per share at some point, probably in this year, and that would be a budget blower. But $210 a day makes sense for my budget right now. I love the number 210 because 21 million Bitcoin. So I'm kind of paying homage to 21 million by 210. I really love that idea. And I'm going to buy every single day. Then I'm going to post proof of that. So yesterday's purchase is right here. You can see it January 2nd, 10:04 a.m. I bought at $307. I bought the local top, by the way. I bought 1 share. This was just to kick it off. Today, I plan on buying $210 worth of MicroStrategy, and the same on Monday through Friday of next week and all of 2025. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, and let me know in the comment section. Does anybody want to join me in this DCA gang that we can create here, this dollar cost average gang, where we're just continuing to buy MicroStrategy every single day, committed, whether it's higher or lower? We're going to dollar cost average into what I think is going to be the best performing stock of the next 4 years. Time will tell. It's my thoughts, my opinion. So comment below if this is interesting to you. And I'm going to also keep posting how my portfolio is doing. As you can see right here, I went ahead into Yahoo Finance and I entered I entered my purchase price or my purchase of it at $307. Now it's down to $300. So I'm actually down $7 at a negative 2.39%. But I will keep updating this on a daily basis as well, because I think it'll be really interesting to see over the year how this does as I dollar cost average in. And dollar cost averaging is always a great way to do things, because you're buying more when the stock is down, you're buying more shares, and you're buying less when the stock is higher, always improving that average price per share. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this. If anybody's joining me, post in this video and future videos what your dollar amount is, or just that you DCA'd in. You don't have to share your dollar amount. I'm just sharing this with everybody to be fully transparent and have some fun. And also something else that I launched, I'll be talking more about coming up, is I have now the MSTR Crew. It's a community on YouTube right here. You can click the join tab right below this video, and you can join our MSTR Crew, where you get early access to these videos. I release them early to the MSTR Crew. We do a once a week video call where we just all get on and we talk all things Bitcoin, MicroStrategy, and just life in general too, like the macro of the world, mostly finance, but we get into some health and nutrition and some, different scenarios. Like I'm a father of a 1-year-old right now. I mean, that conversation's come up before. It's just a good way to kind of get together with like-minded individuals who have a love for Bitcoin, who have a love for Michael Saylor and what MicroStrategy is doing, and want to be a part of it and want to have more communications about that. So you can just check out the join tab right below this video if you want to learn more. And I'd love to see you on these weekly calls that we're doing. And please remember, my friends, as Michael Saylor says, there is no second best.